Hello lovelies. Apologies, we've got a very chatty dog today, so you might hear barking. It's Lesley, not quite enough. Words of gratitude for the NHS. There have been more hospital visits this week. It never ends. We have been joking with my dad that he's basically a secret shopper for the health service. And you know, these people who go into shops to check the service and a range of goods available and that sort of thing. Yeah, we think, I think that's what my dad's doing now. We could do without it. Actually, I think he's going to be, I don't normally talk about things from my ceremonies, but this was a good one and it was funny, so I don't think the people would mind. But there's someone I did a ceremony for, and they had a very long illness that required visits to lots of hospitals, doctors, clinics, surgeries, practices. If there was a medical institution, they would have gone there for their health. And they said they were going to start a website giving their views, and they were going to call it Sick Advisor. Yeah. Yeah, so lots of hospital visits. When I do my accounts, most of the entries on my current account seem to say hospital parking. But never mind, all are well, and all are getting better too, so that's all fine. It's Wednesday as I record this, and we're getting ready for Storm Kieran to come in, which is due tonight into tomorrow night. I had a chat earlier online with our knit night group, because in theory we could meet in person, but the hotel where we meet is on the seafront, and that's probably not a good idea. So we're going to go virtual this evening, which makes a lot of sense. Yeah, apart from that, just plodding along really. The weather is quite unpleasant. We've had some very heavy rain. My local shopping centre made it into the national news because it was flooded. So that was fun. Luckily nobody hurt. And actually I read a really uplifting report. There's an organisation which helps homeless people in the town. And that's where I donate hats when I make them on the old whirly whirly. And I read their report on Facebook about how they were affected by the storm and about how everyone came in to help. So the local councillor, who then contacted the water board got hold of electricians because they're considered an emergency service, so got their lights back on and got their kitchen working, and people coming in to help. A lot of stuff is lost, a lot of stuff is ruined. Even a local butchery shop offered their freezer space so that they didn't lose the stuff that they had in the freezer. So they have lost a lot of stuff, and that's terribly sad, but it is so reassuring and uplifting. It's always look for the helpers, isn't it, when things are looking pretty grim. Look for the helpers, look for those who are willing to put themselves out. And it's just, it restores your faith in human nature. And we can all do with a bit of that at the moment. My faith in canine nature is being sorely tested by a very noisy dog today. Apologise if you can hear her. We've had her 8 years. This week was the 8th anniversary of her gotcha day, when we went to Heathrow to pick her up from her flight in from Cyprus. I don't think she's got used to the weather yet. Apart from that, it was a fairly quiet weekend. Had 2 Zoom calls, which was lovely. One with some friends and one with some other friends. So the one in the afternoon was with some funeral friends, or dead friends as we call ourselves. And the one in the evening was the Zoom call, hosted by Barbara of Flame and Fibre and Valerie the Wonderful. And it was great to see everyone. Everyone was on fine form. And that reminds me that I have been meaning to say, and apologies Carol, I haven't done this yet, that Carol Roy, who is a member of the Zoom group and a sock designer, has started a podcast. It's called Swatch This Space. I will link it below. If you like knitting and you like horses, Carol's your woman. I mention the horses because her daughter has a ranch where she looks after rescued horses. And with each podcast, we're being introduced to one of their guests. It was Taz this month. And yeah, so something horsey as well as something knitty, which is lovely. Like I say, I'll link her channel below. But an annoyingly professional podcast for a first one. Editing and production values that I have had to have a word and just say, look, really, you know, can you help the rest of us out here? We're just muddling along quite happily, and you come along with your graphics and your coherent sentences. I mean, come on. How are we meant to compete? Not that it's a competition. Life is not a competition. It is not a race. So yes, if you're looking for a podcast, I would recommend the lovely Carol. She's a very skilled and prolific knitter. And like I say, sock designer as well. And an all-round good egg. So I think that's going to be it for the moment. Probably be a shorter vlog this week rather. But I will let you know how we get on with Storm Kieran. We're sort of bringing things out of the garden and sticking them in the garage so they don't fly off. Yes, charging up the phones, that sort of thing, making sure we know where the matches are. It's all good fun. Take care, everyone. Hello, lovelies. Well, in honour of my sister's love of Barry Manilow, rather than my dislike of his music, we made it through the rain. The storm blew through. We were very lucky. Wasn't anywhere near as bad in this particular area as had been forecast. I know that in mainland Europe, sadly there have been some fatalities, and quite a few people had power lines down, problems with utilities, basically water, roads blocked, that sort of thing. But it could have been a lot worse, so we're very fortunate. And it's Friday. And I've just drawn the prize for the Black History Month, and that was won by Melinda, who chose the, now I'm calling this Mixage, but it might be Mixage pattern by Jimmy Knits, which is rather lovely. So that's on its way to her. Thank you again to everyone who was interested, who took part, who listened. I'm very grateful to you. Where are we now? It's Friday afternoon. We had some domestic problems this morning. We seem to be without power, and given that we've had this storm, I'm checking with the neighbours on our WhatsApp group. Everyone else got power? Oh yeah, we've got power. Okay, that's a problem here then. And we've located it to one appliance, so we need to get someone in to repair that. So that's being dealt with. But these things all kind of take time, don't they? And time is not my friend at the moment. But we'll get there. Going to a birthday party tomorrow. A friend of mine has a birthday. I have made a gift, which I'm not putting on here because occasionally she watches this and I don't want to spoil it. So I hope I haven't spoiled it a lot by saying, I've got you a present. I've made you a present, Rose. But you don't know what it is. You can guess what it's made out of. So, and don't know if I'm going to Dad on Sunday. Might be me, might be someone else. And then next week more of the same. So yeah, super busy. So I'm going to bring things to a close here and just say thanks very much for watching. Thank you for all your comments and thoughts. And I'm going to finish with a big thank you to Barb. Barb is in Canada. And I met Barb last year. She was in the UK and we met in London and went yarn shopping and had a wander around. It was great. And she has sent me an advent calendar. She's made an advent calendar for me and sent it to me. And my flabber is gasted. I've left it downstairs because I have work to do and I will be wanting to look at it, because there are a couple of bags, one to give away to you lovelies, one for me. There are some stitch markers, again, one for you, one for me. And just, I am so very grateful. So thank you, Barb. You are an absolute star. And yeah, just blown away. So in a spirit of gratitude, thank you to all of you for being here. I'm very grateful for your company. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you next week. Cheers. Bye-bye.